Alrighty, here we are. Hey guys, today I thought it would be fun to do a rare mineral little color wheel thing I cooked up yesterday in preparation for this. Chose 2 of each mineral in relatively each color. That's pretty rare. And they range from fairly uncommon to they literally only occur at 1 or 2 spots in the entire world. But yeah, we got in the orange, Redcanyonite from Utah, Pascoite from Colorado, Walpurgite from Germany, Legrandite from Mexico in yellow, light green, we got Cuprotungstite from Germany, and Annabergite from Greece, and darker green, Cuproscladowskite from the Democratic Republic of the Congo, a Cisanixite from Chile. Into the bluish green, we got Claraite from Germany, Eureka Dumpite from Utah. Light blue, we got Paratuite from Australia. Sorry, read that. Nevadaite from Nevada. This is from Australia. I don't know why I mentioned that. Nikonichite from Russia. Kinoite from Arizona in the blue. In the violet, we got Phosphosiderite from Brazil, and I couldn't find a second one in this category that's like exceedingly rare, but so what I did is I found a piece that has both here and here, so it kind of combines, which is Chanabayaite and Joanumite from Chile. We got Tolnakite from Russia and Eleite from Germany, and the purple. In the pink, we got Petsodaite from Madagascar, Koritnigite and Cobalt Koritnigite from Germany, Miserite from Tajikistan, Montgomeryite from South Dakota, in the pinkish red category. And in the red, we got Manganoneptunite and Umahoite from Canada and France, respectively. In brown, we got Lorenzonite and Rathite, Russia and Switzerland. In tan, we got Uranotungstite from Germany, and Caribibite from Morocco, Rockbridgeite from South Dakota, Ruolite from Italy. In black, in white, we got Antarcticite from California, Beolite from Namibia. In colorless, we got Tarbutite from Namibia and Tiptopite from South Dakota. And lastly, in the kind of just metallic, we got Germanite and Gallite from Namibia. I kind of combined these two because they're occurring together. And then Rheneite from Russia. It'll be a fun one. It'll probably also be a long one because a lot of minerals to cover here. But it'll be fun. So sit back and just enjoy me ranting about really rare minerals that I really enjoy. Yeah, we'll get started here. We'll do the orange and just work our way around. Which means at the top here, we got Redcanyonite from Utah. It's associated with some yellow zippyite, primarily ammoniozippyite, but there's some other zippyite group members here, I imagine. As well as over here is some Therese magnonite and cobalt bloodite, those little pink on the side there. But we're here for the orange, but I'll still show the associated minerals anyway. And as you'd expect, this piece ain't much for show on the macro level. However, under the micro level is a completely different story. So, you can see here, these lovely orange crystals is by far probably my favorite orange mineral to exist. The famed Redcanyonite. It is an ammonium manganese uranyl sulfate, and it is just by far one of my favorite minerals. A spectacular piece of it over here that I bought from Utah. Crystals just surround this lovely piece. All this orange is the Redcanyonite. Very rich piece, beloved piece. I stare at this thing for too many hours. Associated with it is some zippyite. It's all this yellow here. I believe it's ammoniozipyite, which is just ammonium uranyl sulfate, but there's some other zippyite group members that can occur at this spot that might have been mixed in. Zippyite is just a uranyl sulfate group that typically has some other element attached to it, primarily potassium, magnesium, but some sodium, calcium, cobalt, even nickel and zinc have been found as well. The green, I'm not too sure what it is. There's a lot of really weird minerals that can occur here. I'd imagine it's some sort of sodium uranyl sulfate, because those are pretty common from this locality, but hard to say for sure. Even down here we got some more zippyite, really nice crystals of it there. And then going to the other side, well, this pink over here is those cobalt sulfates I mentioned. Cobalt bloodite and tyrese-magnonite. I don't know how to pronounce it, to be honest. One of the two, but both sodium cobalt sulfates that are pretty prevalent on this piece and from this mine, the Blue Lizard Mine in Utah specifically. It is a bucket list locality for me, for sure. I've bought quite a few pieces from here, but never had the chance to get out there myself yet. But I would absolutely love to one day. But yeah. That's the Redcanyonite. And the second one, for the orange, is this lovely piece of pascoite and magnesio-pascoite from the Pack Rat Mine in Colorado, a very famous uranium vanadium mine, classic roll front sedimentary deposit. But this piece is lovely. These are calcium vanidates, this magnesio-pascoite's calcium magnesium vanadate. Very rich, very fun. There's also some carnotite on the micro level, which is potassium uranyl vanadate. One of the more common minerals mined for uranium, because it occurs pretty prevalently in a lot of those roll front deposits. But we'll take a look at it here on the micro level, because it is just as pretty. And here we are. It doesn't have too much to show for it. It is just fun and pretty. But you can still see some of the crystallization a lot better. It's kind of just encrusting this piece of sandstone here. It's nice and cool. There's some of that carnotite I mentioned, that little yellow crusts. Yeah, you can really see the crystallization of the pascoite and magnesio-pascoite when you get really zoomed in here. It's pretty neat. There's the carnotite again. But yeah. Very fun, very beautiful orange mineral from Colorado. Moving on to the yellow. We got a piece from Germany here. Lovely piece of walpurgite, which is a bismuth uranyl arsenate occurring with some migzite, which is a bismuth copper arsenate. That's the green there. That looks like malachite, but it's actually the migzite. But we're here for the walpurgite, which is a very cool mineral. Much better seen on the microscope level, which we will go to right now. As you can see here, all these lovely pale yellow crystals is the walpurgite. Some localities they can get much more gemmy, but not this one. Those typically go for a bit out of my price range, but these are still lovely crystals of it nonetheless. Some uraninite there, the black. But yeah, these pale lovely crystals are pale yellow crystals are the walpurgite. They're just coating the corners of this piece. Very fun, and occurring with some migzite, which is the green. Very similar to malachite, but bismuth containing, and obviously an arsenate, not a carbonate. But yeah, it's a fun piece. Lovely piece from Germany. And the second of the yellow Definitely one of the most spectacular yellow minerals to exist, in my opinion. This is lagrandite. One of the best localities for it, actually, is the Ojuela mine in Mexico, where both of these pieces are from. They're two separate pieces, but I keep them together just for consolidation. But yeah, very striking, very bright yellow. And if you think they're pretty here, just you wait. As you can see here, much prettier on the micro level. Even though it's just as striking, you can see the points of the individual crystals of the lagrandite, and it's just stunning. This is a zinc arsenate, by the way. It's actually pretty simple, mineralogically, just zinc, arsenate, and water. It's occurring in some iron goethite here, but this cluster, as cool as it is nothing compared to this one over here. This cluster over here is just stunning. Like, look at that. Just freaking wow. I've seen this piece hundreds of times and I'm still blown away by it. Oh man. I love lagrandite. You can see each individual crystal tip there. Really well crystallized out. Oh man. See even smaller needles of it as well. There's some hemimorphite on this piece as well, but it's just clear. As well as some adamite, which is another zinc arsenate. But yeah, there's some of the hemimorphite there, as well as the adamite, but it's whatever. Especially when you got this here to look at. Stunning. Absolutely stunning. Next up is a very fun personal favorite mineral of mine, cuprotungstate. It's, as its name suggests, copper tungstate. It's really fun, as it forms these nice little green crust here. This piece comes from the Clara mine in Germany. But it's not too impressive here, so I'll show you where it does get impressive. We got here the nice green encrustings of the cuprotungstate. It's very cool when it's encrusting like this. This is normally how it forms, but this piece is a bit more special. Come over here, get the nicer, larger piece. You'll get into the fibers, the individual crystal fibers of it, which are right there. Really funky looking, but that's cuprotungstate. Typically is normally that encrusting, but for some reason here at this Clara mine in Germany, it just likes to do these little hair-like structures. Very weird looking, but I do absolutely love it. It's very interesting, very unique. Zoom in a little bit more for you there. Little quartz crystal there. But yeah, very unique. Not too many minerals form these weird little things like this, but this is one that does. And finishing off the light green is this lovely piece of anabergite from Greece. Classic KM3 piece. It also is occurring with some sumcorite and nickel sumcorite. That's the brown crystals in there. The white, I'm not too sure. It's probably some other arsenate that occurred here, but I'm not too sure what the ID on it is. Very fun green crystals. It is in the same family of erythrite, if you've ever heard of that. That's the cobalt version, actually. Same exact chemistry and structure, but this is pure nickel instead of cobalt like erythrite is. And now we'll take a look at it under the scope. You can see just how absolutely stunning this piece is. We're zoomed out a bit, but if I zoom in a bit more, you can really see the crystal structure of these nice anabergite bursts. Very fun. And all that brown in there is the sumcorite, which is another lead arsenate. Lead and usually some other things like magnesium, nickel sumcorite, obviously having nickel, which makes sense being with the anabergite, but the anabergite is quite spectacular. This piece comes from Greece, as I mentioned, the KM3 mine. It's pretty well known for these anabergite pieces because they are spectacular, as you can see. Very fun, very pretty. Coming into our darker green section is a lovely piece from the Congo of cuprous-skladowskite, named after Marie Curie's maiden name, the skladowskite group. There's a few minerals in it, obviously skladowskite being a magnesium version, but this is the copper form, which forms these lovely green crystals, being a copper uranyl silicate. This comes from the Musinoi mine in the Congo, which all these pieces in this box do, just for consolidation. Got some marthasite over here, gillespite, not gillespite. What's the name of this mineral? Giuseppeite, I think, something like that. But they're all various uranium pieces. But we're here to focus on the cuprous-skladowskite, which, as pretty as it is here, will look even better here in a second. As you can see here, these lovely cuprous-skladowskite crystals. Just pure green radioactive joy. It's occurring in a little pocket of malachite, that velvety stuff there, velvet malachite. But a spectacular piece. Very fun piece. Very fun. And yeah, these are the other ones from the mine. There's a bunch of marthasite, but we're not here to focus on these, but I'll still show them off. And there's the other mineral. I couldn't exactly remember the name of, the Giuseppeite, I believe, but I could be wrong there. I know it starts with a G, and it's a barium uranyl selenite, actually, selenate, which is peculiar, but yeah. But the cuprous-skladowskite is the main focus here. Very fun, very pretty, very beautiful. On to the next. Finishing our darker green section is another one of my personal favorite minerals, cybercutie. It is a copper molybdate, only known from a couple localities, this being the primary one in the type locality in Chile. It is just lovely, deep green. I was very happy to purchase this piece because it's spectacular, especially for the species being so rare. Take a look at on the micro here. Here it is, forming all these lovely green crystals of the cybercutie. I just love the way they're interacting together and intergrowing into each other. Just such a lovely green. Yeah, this mineral's, I believe, only been found at 2 locations as far as I last checked. This type locality in Chile, as well as another mine in New Mexico, or is it Arizona? Somewhere out there. But it's only been found a couple times at that mine in Arizona, while here it's been found pretty prevalently. Apparently there was one massive pocket of it found. So pieces of it are pretty hard to come by, but I am very glad to own this one. Very pretty. There's some calcite there. Just classic dogtooth calcite, but lovely piece of xenixite. Coming into the blue-green section, I'm not even going to bother with the macro on these because they are really only enjoyed on the micro level. But this is Clara-ite, named after the Clara mine in Germany, sitting on a piece of quartz here. Lovely bluish-green crystals of it. It is a very complex copper zinc carbonate arsenate sulfate. A lot of water in its structure as well. This forms in a few places in the world, but obviously the type locality is the best locality. There's some green crystals of cornobite there, which is a copper arsenate, but yeah, the Clara-ite is quite beautiful. Big fan of it. Also another type locality spot for, or not type locality, bucket list locality for me is this mine in Germany. Would love to visit one day, but that day is not today, but someday. Much like the last piece, this one is just not worth showing on the macro level, but lovely pieces under the micro level. This is Eureka Dumpite, all these blue-green crystals here, occurring with some Duganite and chrysocolla. Chrysocolla is just a pretty common mineral you've probably heard of. But Duganite is a lead tellerate, and Eureka Dumpite is a copper zinc tellerate, as well as some arsenate in there as well, but primarily tellerate. Spectacular specimen from Utah. Type locality for it as well. There's some of the nice Duganite crystals in the chrysocolla. And there's more of the beautiful Eureka Dumpite. Really nice crystals of it there. Some more in there. Intergrowing in this quartz, similar to the last one, another bucket list locality for me is this one, the North Star mine. A lot of really unique tellurium minerals here that I would love to collect. And yeah, that's going to do it for the blue-green section. On to the light blue section. Also, similarly, not really worth showing on the macro level, but on the micro level, we got some lovely crystals of pyrrhotooite. Pyrrhotooite is a rare earth calcium, strontium, copper carbonate. Pretty complex. Primarily, the rare earth that crystallizes in here is lanthanum, but there has been others detected. As usual with rare earth minerals, they kind of just consolidate a bunch of rare earth elements. But it is primarily lanthanum here, which doesn't seem too common. But I'm a big fan of it. It's lovely, light blue crystals. Only found at this one locality in Australia. There's some lanthanum tornbaumite there too, that white. It's a lanthanum aluminum silicate. And yeah, piece is very fun. Another absolutely favorite mineral is this Nevada-ite here, obviously coming from Nevada. It's found in a couple other spots in the world, but is exceedingly rare. It's a copper, aluminum, vanadium fluorophosphate, which I do love me my phosphates, let me tell you. But yeah, very fun one. I have two small micros of it, this little ball here, and then coming over here is actually the better one, because you really get some lovely blue crystals of it, some of which are even including themselves in large crystals of fluorite, which is an aluminum fluorophosphate as well. They're really fun the way they just intergrow inside the fluorite. But yeah, you can see the individual crystals outside there. Very fun one. Definitely a personal favorite mineral as well. I do love me my Nevada-ite. It comes from actually a massive gold mine in Nevada. But I love it for these minerals instead. Alright, coming into the darker blue, we got one of my favorite minerals from one of my favorite localities. This is a mineral called Redcanyonite. Comes from the Tolbachik fumarole field in Russia. Mentioned it a couple times before, but I love pieces from this locality. The type locality for this mineral is in Germany, but honestly I like Russian stuff better. It's just unbeatable in terms of quality. Just look at all that. So freaking cool. This is a pretty complex mineral in terms of its chemistry. It's got this weird specific amounts of sodium, calcium, and copper taking up some spaces of the crystal, as well as magnesium, calcium, and aluminum. Or no, magnesium, iron, aluminum taking up the other spots. And then 3 arsenate molecules. It's pretty weird and specific like that, but honestly, that's kind of why I love it more. I could stare at this all day. Hopefully you can too. Just oof. Got some black tenorite deeper in there. Little pieces of it. There's some more of it over here. It's whatever compared to this. Tenorite's just a copper oxide, nothing special. But this is. Second up on the darker blue is a copper calcium silicate from Arizona called Djartmusic. Forms all these blue crystals here. It's a pretty rare one as well. The green spheres are Gila-lite, named for the Gila region of Arizona, where they were found, as well as this Djartmusic blue. And all those squares is just some apophyllite. Nothing too crazy there, but Djartmusic is the main show. Lovely specimen of it here. About the size of my thumbnail, for reference, this piece is. So, very small, but very beautiful. Coming into the violet section, we got an iron phosphate called phosphosiderite, forming all these bluish purple crystals here. There's even some pink crystals of it actually up on the top here. It can range in color just based off trace elements and specific amounts of what charged iron you're getting in there, but you can see this piece itself has got all sorts, pinks, purples, blues, and purples. Those orangish needles is another mineral called bermanite that's occurring with it. You can see that violet overgrowth on the blue of just the same mineral, the phosphosiderite. It's pretty interesting. Nice little bermanite needles there. Very pretty one. Very pretty one indeed. You can see some more pinkish crystals here. Bermanite as well. I don't know if I mentioned or not, but this comes from Brazil. The many gemstone pegmatites down there also tend to produce lots of cool phosphate pieces, which I tend to enjoy a bit more than just the pretty gemstones. This next one's a pretty interesting one from Chile. I want to preface this by saying I couldn't exactly find another violet one that's exceedingly rare, so I went with a blue and a purple and on the same piece. The blue is a very rare organic copper mineral called chanabayaite, which is a copper ammonium cyanide. You heard that right. And the purple is, you can see that little blue crystal or purple crystal right there. several of them on this piece, but look at that one right there. Djartmusic, which is pretty similar. Really weird cyanide amino complexes on these minerals. There's some others in here, like shillovite, boharite, papillonde-picaite, wheatleyite, to name a few. But very cool pieces nonetheless, especially for being organic minerals. Antiponite's another one. I just remembered a lot of this sky blue stuff is the antiponite, but those little blue needles is the chanabayite primarily, and then a lot of these little purple cubes is the djartmusic. A lot more of them over here, sitting in the aminaite and antiponite. Very weird organic minerals. These organic minerals formed from a guano deposit sitting on top of a copper deposit. Made a really interesting chemical environment for these to grow. Definitely a fan of this one. Moving into purple, we have a metallic mineral here called tallnachite. It is in the pentlandite group, which pentlandite is a common ore of nickel and iron. So all these purple grains here. The gold stuff is just pyrite, but the tallnachite is all this purple metallic stuff. Looks similar to covalite, but it's more rich in copper, iron, and nickel. It's a very fun sulfide from Russia. Very pretty. Flipped it over so you can see the back side of it. This comes from the type locality of the Tallnach deposit itself in Russia, which also has a lot of platinum group elements, like platinum, palladium, osmium, iridium, things like that. But this piece is for the tallnachite. Secondly, in the purple is some lovely purple needles of elite. This comes from a slag locality in Germany, so a lot of minerals recrystallizing from the old ore and stuff. This is a lead copper sulfate. Very, very pretty purple needles. Purple ones are the main attraction, but I also have some blue ones over here from France, probably caused by more copper. A little more copper than the purple ones, but the blue ones aren't as pretty, I won't lie. The purple one over here definitely is. I consolidated them just for being the same mineral, but they are from different localities. Moving into pink, we got this lovely pixabay crystal. I showed this one off in my Cesian mineral short, but you can get a better, closer look at its specific crystal structure here. It's very interesting the way the crystal grows. Yeah, this is a cesium, beryllium, lithium, aluminum silicate in the beryl group from Madagascar. Lovely, perfect crystal of it. Almost kind of grows like a little mushroom. Little pink mushroom. I suppose with the cesium content it is just as dangerous, but yeah, it's really pretty. You can see the top of it there. Secondly, in the pink is some courtnigite group minerals, which is all this bright pink here. There's normal courtnigite, which is zinc arsenate, as well as cobalt courtnigite, which is obviously cobalt arsenate, occurring with a bunch of calcium arsenates as well. It's all the white needles. I'm not entirely sure which ones, because there's a lot of calcium arsenates, especially from this locality. Pharmacolite, picropharmacolite, Ferrarisite, to name a few. It'd be hard to identify them without an XRF, which I don't have access to at the moment. But the Kortnagite is for sure though, because that pink is unmistakable. Fun piece from Germany. Cobalt minerals do just tend to be very pretty. Just shame how bad cobalt mining is for the environment, but I do love how pretty the minerals are. Coming into the pinkish red, we got a rare earth mineral here called miserite. This piece comes from Tajikistan. It's a potassium rare earth silicate. Forms these lovely pink little blades here. Zoom out a bit. You can see my fingers holding it. From this locality, there's also lots of weird cesium minerals as well. There might be a few of them chunked in this quartz and feldspar here. Some of those other grains you see there might be those weird cesium minerals, but I primarily bought it for the miserite here. Lovely piece from Tajikistan. Coming in from South Dakota, to finish off the pinkish red stuff, some lovely crystals of Montgomeryite. Some more paler ones here on this piece of feldspar. It's a calcium, magnesium, aluminum phosphate. Certified banger for me, for sure. You know how I feel about my phosphates if you've been watching my videos lately. Some really nice crystals of it though. I own 2 pieces of this. I'll show the other one here in a second. Once we finish scrolling through this one, you can see this one's a bit more densely packed though with that Montgomeryite. Very fun piece. Coming over to the second one. You can see more lovely crystals of it there. These ones being a bit more shiny. You can really see the points on them though. Smaller piece, but the crystal quality is a bit better on the second one. Very cool. Coming into our red minerals here, we have a lovely micro specimen of Mineralogist from Canada. These crystals are beautiful. If you're familiar with the normal black neptunite you might see from California, this is the same group of minerals, but this one is manganese rich while the normal neptunite's iron rich. Lovely crystals of it there. You can see some cataplayite there, those little brown needles. Very fun. Probably one of my favorite micros. Piece from the Mont Saint Hilaire quarry in Canada. One of my many pieces from it, I should say. Even some Burbankite right there, which is a rare earth carbonate. Those little crystals there. But we're here for the Mineralogist tonight, which is very pretty. Next up for the red is by far definitely one of my favorite minerals, Umahoite, which is uranomolybdate. So yes, this piece is slightly radioactive. All these little red balls here is the Umahoite. You can see some more there, some more orangey ones there rather than red. Bunch more up here. primary crystallization area for it is down here. This piece comes from France, one of the best localities for this mineral. Love this piece. If you go up a bit on it, you can see some calciumalite, which is calcium uranyl molybdate. All that yellow stuff right there. But I like the umohoite more. Very fun pieces of it. One of the rare pieces you can see without the scope is this lovely Lorenzonite crystal from Russia, sitting in some iodine and augite matrix. It's a sodium titanium silicate. In my last video, I started an intro with some needles of the same mineral from Canada, but in Russia they get these very large crystals of it. Very fun mineral. Coming into our brown minerals, down in this little pocket here, some lovely crystals of graphite, which is a lead, thallium, silver, arsenic, antimony sulfide, pretty complex one, from Switzerland, the famous Langenbach quarry. There's some golden crystals of pyrite there, also with it, as well as some realgar, all that red. Just a bunch of arsenic minerals occurring in a piece of marble. But the graphite is very cool, especially thallium mineralization. It's not something you see too regularly. Very fun one. Going into tan minerals, it's this lovely one from Morocco called caribibite. If you remember my part 5 of my collection overview, this is one of the ones I forgot. But lovely tan crystals of this caribibite sitting in some quartz and galena. This is an iron arsenate. Forms all these lovely needles. Almost like little sea urchin bursts, to be honest. Very fun one. Spectacular piece of it. Honestly got this one for a steal now that I'm thinking about it. Normally pieces like this go for way more, but I only got it for $50, so quite the steal. Especially ones of this quality. Lovely piece. It's about the size of a nickel, if you're wondering, this whole piece. So yeah, very fun one. Also in the tan is not this arseno-uranospathite. It's actually something much cooler, much rarer mineral. If we zoom in on these crystals here, to a tiny little pocket way deep in here. You can see tons of tiny little tan crusts. This is a very rare mineral called uranotungstate, which, as its name suggests, is a uranotungstate. It also contains barium and lead. Occurs in this very, very tiny pocket. Very rare mineral, uranotungstate is. Yeah, out of this whole piece, it's only in that tiny little pocket. This piece is about the size of a dime, I would say, this piece of arseno-uranospathite. But that uranotungstate was the main selling piece that got me to buy it. Some red quartz in there as well, but that's not important. Secondly, on the black minerals is fun iron phosphate that I collected myself in South Dakota called rock brevity. All those black crystals right there, sitting on some trifolite and some giantite. I covered a piece similar to this in the last video, but this one has more of the rock brevity prevalent, but the same mineral assemblage though. Got a second one over here. I keep them both together because they're small, so it's easy to consolidate in the same box, but collected both of these myself in South Dakota. You can see just tons of these rock brevity needles. Very fun to look at. Intermatrixing with the giantite. Pieces, even some Mineralolite over here, this pink, but we're here for the rock brevity, which there's quite a bit of on this piece, as you can see. Moving into black, we have ruolite, however you pronounce it. It is a copper, mercury, lead antimony sulfide from Italy. Kind of got this blue luster to them, but they're actually black. Just they reflect blue. Tons of very fun fibers of it. Lovely piece from Italy. This was very fun to just see where all the fibers go. Moving into the white minerals is a mineral called antarcticite, which is these white crystals right here. Let's see, right there and right there. It's occurring in a small piece of halite from California. It's also been epoxied so it doesn't fall apart because this mineral is very both evaporitic as well as needs colder temperatures to survive, but due to being properly epoxied, it can manage, as well as also being primarily included in the halite. That also helps protect it quite a bit. But yeah, a very fun piece of antarcticite. Land of Lustrous fans, you know. This is a calcium chloride, by the way. It's discovered in Antarctica and typically does needs very cold and very dry environments to grow. So, very cool. Secondly, into the white minerals is this lovely fibrous micro from the Sumeb mine of buuut, which is an antimony molybdate. Very weird one. Just looks like a tiny little ball of white hair, but it's this mineral buuut. Fabulous little micro. Tiny it is. So that's the micro mount there. There's my finger. That's how small this piece is. But it is fabulous. Not too many specimens of this mineral. You can see why. Very fun one. Coming into our second colorless mineral is probably one of the rarest minerals I own. So these very tiny clear crystals is an extremely rare mineral called tiptopite. named for the Tip-Top mine in South Dakota, a place I've been very fortunate to visit. It's a calcium, sodium, lithium, beryllium, aluminum phosphate. It's pretty complex. There's a few little bursts of it in here. Some more of it up there. It's occurring with some rocherite, which are those red crystals, and hurlbutite, which are those little white balls, but the tip-topite is all these very clear needles. And a fun fact I learned about these is that their crystal structure is actually entirely hollow. So these are hollow crystals. They're like little cylinders. Very strange. Very, very strange. But yeah, definitely one of the rarest minerals I own, for sure. Spectacular piece. It only occurs at this mine, by the way. I don't know if I mentioned that already, but that's what makes it so rare. It's only been found here at its namesake, so definitely a rare one. Going into colorless minerals is a mineral called tarbutite. It's a zinc phosphate. Comes from Namibia, primarily. There's also some tiny white pieces of spencerite in there, but the tarbutite is the main focus for today. All these lovely colorless crystals here. They're very fun. Very fun etchings on them as well. Yeah, this is very basic zinc phosphate. Not too complex, but pretty uncommon. Pretty to look at. If you're wondering about that coloring, it's actually just the iron oxides that are coating the host rock that it grew over. That's just how clear it is. It's absorbing the color from what's beneath it. You can see down here some of that iron oxide just overgrew that, so you can see straight through it. So it is colorless, it's not actually pink. But yeah, it's a cool one here. And coming in for our last mineral in this video is the extremely rare rheneite. It is one of few minerals to contain essential rhenium, djartmusic being another, but this is rheneite. I think it's either RES2 or is it RE2S3? One of the two, I don't remember off the top of my head, but very simple rhenium sulfide. This piece coming from the Kudryavy volcano in Russia. Beautiful piece. You can really see the structure of the rheneite blades in here. Very shiny metallic too. It's occurring on a piece of volcanic scoria where the fumarolic rhenium crystallized out. Which fumarolic rhenium is pretty crazy. I think that there's rhenium gas that gets crystallized like this. Yeah, the Kudryavy volcano is pretty famous for these pieces, as well as a lot of other weird, like cadmium bismuth sulfides that occur there. Fun piece. Fun piece. And to finish off this video, we got a lovely piece from the Tsumeb mine again in our metallics and gray section. Actually, it'll be all metallics, but this is germanite and gallite. Both being one of the very few germanium and gallium primary minerals that exist. Those elements just don't like to mineralize, but this is one of the few times they do in both of these minerals. More bronzy stuff is the gallite, but the germanite's the silver. Even got some of that blue tarnish in it, bluish green tarnish. But yeah, both of these are primarily copper sulfides with primary germanium and gallium in their structure. That's what we see often. The Tsumeb mine in Namibia is one of the only places you get a lot of primary gallium and germanium mineralization. Most gallium and germanium are extracted through just small inclusions and impurities in other minerals, but this is one place where it's actually primary rather than secondary. That's why it's one of my favorites. It's just very fun like that. Sparkly metal. So, thanks again for watching me rant about minerals again. Lots of rare ones in this one as well. But hopefully you enjoyed viewing more of my ridiculous collection. Yeah. Now I gotta put all the samples back. This is gonna be fun. Anyways, like and subscribe, all that stuff. He's still watching. This is gonna be a pain in the butt.